Hey, what's going on? So I'm doing this video. This is a video about my journey here, and wanted to just tell everybody who didn't know how I got here, what got me to Houston from New Orleans, my hometown. And no, it's not because of Katrina. So I'm gonna make this story as short as possible, and I might start eating some popcorn because that's what I want. And I figure, you should just see me in my natural element anyway, so I want some popcorn. I'm sitting in my PJs, and boxers, and all of that, so welcome to my house. And yeah, so anyway, since we got the popcorn thing out of the way, so how did I get here? Glad you asked. Alright, so let's go back a little ways to summer 2004. Summer 2004, I was working at the Monteleone Hotel, and they offered me a position there. It would be a transitional position to get me to work somewhere else in the hotel, and it was as a pool attendant, a pool boy. Now, the significance of that is a few things. First part of the significance of it is at the Monteleone, they had never really had a pool person of color, African American or otherwise, and they thought I was good enough to do it. So, they offered me the position. Me and another young lady who I'm still good friends with to this day. Don't talk to a whole bunch as much as I'd like to, but when I talk to, it always feels like normal. We spent that entire summer just having a ball, having a blast, having just a great time. So anyway, took that job, and eventually people started finding out that I could sing. And I even tried out for American Idol that year when they did tryouts, auditions at the Superdome. I made it to round 2. I didn't make it beyond that, but still decent. I didn't make it to TV or anything. People don't know this, but there are several rounds to the process of how it is that they do American Idol. What you see cut for television is not how they really do it, but neither here nor there. So anyway, fast forward, I met someone at the hotel from working there who worked in loss prevention. Loss prevention is security. And her son was one half of a duo called Luke and Q. Now, her son was Q. Luke is the artist we now know as Luke James. But it was Luke and Q, and they had just did a deal with Underdog Entertainment, J Records. And so anyway, she heard me sing because everybody had been telling her that I could sing. And when she finally did hear me sing, she was like, "You make me feel like I feel when I hear my own son sing. He makes me almost want to cry every time I hear my son sing. And that's how you make me feel. You have a beautiful voice, a gift from God." And I took that, and I was so honored that she felt that way, because I hadn't been singing for a while. I grew up singing, but I kind of stopped singing for so many reasons, and I just stopped doing it. I started living, just really not believing that I could really pursue it anymore, just because I had been trying for so long, and one thing or another would get in my way. So I just kind of like gave up on my goal and my dream, and didn't think that I could do it. Fast forward, I left that job. Transitioned into a new relationship with someone, and moved in. We moved in together, all of that stuff. Eventually, we broke up. I moved back home with my grandmother, and one night I had a dream about water. So vividly, in fact, that a book that I now own has a very similar picture to what I saw in my dream about water, about flooding of my city. So I said, is this some type of sign? because I don't usually remember dreams in that detail. So anyway, found out that my ex was moving out of town to Houston, in fact, and I was like, oh, cool, deuces, you know, have a good time, do what you do. So then a few weeks passed, and then I noticed that the murder rate was getting bad. But one day in particular, it was really bad, and it annoyed me in a different kind of way. This guy was sitting on his porch in the projects. It was a Sunday morning. The Sunday morning was his birthday, and he was on the phone with his dad, and his dad was wishing him a happy birthday. And as they're talking, the boy's killed in a drive-by shooting on a Sunday morning. Just freaked my head out. Now, his murder was one of 6 that particular day in a 24-hour period. That just ran through me, and it just bothered me in a different kind of way. Like, you know, it just made me think this is a war zone, and I don't really want to live like that anymore. So the dream about the water, plus that incident happening and making me feel some kind of way, made me say, you know what, maybe it's time for me to move too. So because of some words that Mrs. Consuela from the Hotel Monteleone told me, and just a desire for better and more, and you know, just to see what could happen, I started looking at places to live in Atlanta, jobs, that kind of thing. And I also was looking at other cities too. I prayed to God about the move, and his response was, if your grandmother and your mom say it's okay, go. Ask their blessing first. So I went to him and I told them, and they gave me their blessing, and so I moved straight forward ahead, put my resignation in at my job. My grandmother got sick. By that point, I had already resigned my job and already was trying to make moves to move out of town, and it was gonna be kind of this thing of, you just resigned, now you want your job back. You know, it was gonna be that awkward type of deal and situation. So I had to figure out what I was gonna do, and I finally said the compromise, the medium that I could settle on is, well, my ex lives in Houston now. I can move to Houston. Houston is not that far away. If anything happened, God forbid, I could easily get on a road or get on a plane, get on a Greyhound, whatever, and get back to my grandmother. So that's what I opted to do. And my ex went along with it, helped me get settled, all of that stuff, get acclimated to the city, all those things. There's a story in how it is I even got here. Like, I was stuck at the airport for a little while because I didn't realize how expensive it was to travel from the airport to where it was that I would be living, because I had this small town mentality. New Orleans is a relatively small place in comparison to Houston, but I was still thinking along the lines of, you know, New Orleans, because every time I came to Houston, it was always concentrated to one part of town, one side of town, and I really didn't do much more than what I would come to town to do, whatever that may be. So I had a very limited view of what Houston was and how big it was, unfortunately for me. So my ex made sure I got from the airport and got to the house and all that stuff, and all's well that ends well. So fast forward, August 29th, Katrina happened. Now, I had been settled in Houston for a couple weeks. And by the way, if I didn't mention this, because I may have not, trying to eat my popcorn and talk. August 29th is when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. But August 10th, 2005 was the day that I actually took a flight from New Orleans to Houston, Texas, to move permanently, or until I felt that maybe I would go back, because I thought the possibility would exist that I might not like Houston and might just want to go back home to New Orleans. I thought the possibility existed. interesting part about that too is as I was heading to the airport, my friend was bringing me to the airport. We were riding in the car, and something in me, the voice of God, the divine, said, look around and pay attention. Take everything in. Because the next time you come here, this city won't be the way you remember it. It won't be the same. I thought I was being, emotional. I'm moving out away from home. First time, I'm 20, 21 at the time. I equated it to that. But no, it was the divine really giving me maybe some type of allusion to the fact that Katrina was going to hit. I won't venture to say that I definitely knew that Katrina was going to hit. I would never, ever know something like that. I could never know it, But I do think that, the divine was trying to prepare me in his own way for what was to come. Sure enough, August 29th came around. Katrina knocked that city on his ass. And one thing I want to point out too, for all of the people who think that people just stayed behind just because, in a lot of instances, it was a matter of lack of means and transportation. But also too, then you have to take into consideration that some of those people, I would have to do the research again, and I knew what the name of the storm was. But prior to Hurricane Katrina hitting New Orleans, there was another Category 1 hurricane that hit New Orleans, and it flooded New Orleans too, but it didn't flood New Orleans near to the extent that Katrina would wipe out New Orleans. So that was later deemed a Category 1 hurricane that hit New Orleans, knocked out a lot of power to a lot of people's homes and businesses and things of that nature. And it took us a couple weeks to even recover and get back online with electricity. And people had evacuated for that. And in hindsight, to them, it was, that thing of it wasn't really all that bad. So they kind of equated that to the modern day Hurricane Betsy. And if anybody is from New Orleans and has parents that lived during Betsy, they know that the story always was that Betsy was a bad motherfucker, and it really did some damage, especially to the lower 9. But people still didn't really evacuate, and they just made it, right? So the thought is if I made it through Betsy, I can make it through anything. That kind of thing. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Kind of that attitude or sentiment. So there was that group that thought if I could survive Betsy, I can survive anything. There's the group that's like, I just evacuated for a storm that really, in hindsight, wasn't all that bad. It knocked out some power, may have did a little water damage to some people's property, and stuff like that. But I could have really stayed home and survived it. So you really have to take into account that some people were really evacuation fatigued at this point by the time Katrina was a thought in people's mind. And they didn't take it seriously because you just had a hurricane hit. And surely 2 hurricanes hitting the city in one summer, nah, not gonna happen. The average person probably would not think that 2 hurricanes would hit one city in one summer within a, let's say, 3-month period. But sure enough, it did. And it destroyed it. And when I tell people that I'm from New Orleans and tell them I moved here in 2005, they always think that it's because of Katrina. But I'm here to tell you, it wasn't completely 100% set in stone and settled that I was going to just move here permanently, but it was a real big thing that I was considering doing. I was coming out here to get my bearings, come and work, see what could happen, what I could make of Houston, do a trial period. If it didn't work, it didn't work. And, well, Katrina said, God damn it, if you don't want to stay, you gotta stay now. It's done destroyed your city. And it's not coming back anytime soon, not in the next year or 2. So, I got stuck in Houston, Texas. Now, I've made a great life out here. I've had some moments here and there. I've slept on the street. I've been homeless. I've lost everything. I've been without means of my own. There have been moments that I was just happy that I had a literal quarter in my pocket. And I've also had the moments where I had nothing to worry about. This is one of those moments in my life where I worry about absolutely nothing going on with me. I'm able to pay every bill that I have. I'm able to pay my rent on time. I can buy some things for myself when I want to. You know, I'm in one of the best places in my life. And this is actually, for those who know me kind of well, I've been labeling this year 18 Reloaded because I made 28 this year. So I've been really having a great year. But Houston's been good so far. I won't say that I like everything about Houston all the time, and sometimes I need to get out of here and get to a slower pace of life because I'm a New Orleans dude, and some things are just more simpler in New Orleans, and I kind of like the simplicity of life down there sometimes. So I run to New Orleans, or I might run to Beaumont, Texas, whatever. But you know, New Orleans will always be my first love, but Houston is what I'm married to, you know, until otherwise things change. And so yeah, I wanted to show you something too. I have a basket in my office area in my apartment where I keep like just mementos, things that are really important to me, things I want to look at when I just want to have a moment of remembering something. So this is the original envelope that kept my ticket for my plane ticket to get here to Houston to move. And it's so old. You see the sticker on here. It says August 10th, 05, Continental. And here's the ticket. You can't read it anymore, right? But this is the original ticket from when I flew out here, right? And this is one of the tags from when I flew here with one of my pieces of luggage. Yep. And here's another tag. Yeah. And yep. This is from when I flew here too. But so yeah. So this is my 7th year anniversary being here. I don't foresee myself moving anytime soon. You know, I like Houston. Houston's cool. Houston is close enough to home where when shit gets too crazy out here, I can go back and eat the good food and have the personality and the pizzazz of the French Quarter, and just hear the "Hey baby, how you doing?" What up? What's up, baby? That kind of thing. I can go back to that, or go into the local Popeyes where they say stuff to you like, "We ain't got no more," and just have their attitude. You know, the baby daddy is in the back frying the chicken with the girl with the highest hair on the top of her head. She treating you like she been knowing you for 50 million years and just handling you. It's like, you know, you shouldn't enjoy that, but it's naturally knowledge, you know what I mean? It's just that, it's that thing. It's that I'm home, you know? It's not that, "Hi, welcome to Popeyes." It's, "Alright, so what you want? We ain't got no more. You gonna have to wait. Hold up." New Orleans just always feels good. I can't stay there for long periods of time, because it kind of makes me feel some kind of way when I'm down there. But I love it nonetheless. So decided I wanted to share that with you. Sorry that the video ran so long, but that's a really important part of my life, so figured I'd share. Alright.